Smile had been too tight, her eyes too sharp, like she was waiting for me to trip over something. And Nas never accepted Zoe. From the moment I married Mark, her son, 7 years ago, she made it clear my daughter wasn't real family. Mark's first wife, who passed when Zoe was a toddler, was Nas' golden child, and I was just the interloper who dared to step into her shoes. Zoe, my daughter, from my first marriage, was even less welcome. Mark deserves a proper family, Na once said, her voice dripping with judgment, as if Zoe and I were some kind of mistake. Over the years, she's found ways to chip away at Zoe's joy, spilling paint on her art portfolio before a school exhibition, forgetting to pass on messages about her art club meetings. Each time, she'd play it off as an accident, and Mark, bless his heart, would smooth it over, saying she doesn't mean it, Natalie. She's just set in her ways. But this was no accident. The dress had taken me 7 months to make, every stitch a labor of love. During late nights, after Zoe went to bed, I'd imagined her walking across that stage, her head high, knowing she was loved. Now it was gone, and the graduation was tomorrow. My chest tightened with anger, but more than that with fear. Fear that Zoe would feel the sting of Na's cruelty on what should be her proudest day. I couldn't let that happen. I sat there surrounded by the wreckage of my work and made a promise to myself. Nivea might have torn apart the dress, but she wasn't going to tear apart my daughter's moment. I grabbed my phone and called Tessa, my best friend and a fellow seamstress, who's been my rock through every storm. Her voice crackled through the speaker, steady as always. Natalie, what's wrong? You sound like you're about to cry. I spilled everything. The ruined dress, Na's visit, the pieces of silk still clutched in my hand. Tessa's gasp was sharp. She did what? Natalie, that's vandalism. You need to call the police. I shook my head, even though she couldn't see me. Tessa, you know how it goes. Nah, we'll deny it, and Mark will try to play peacemaker. He'll say it's a misunderstanding like always. My voice broke, and I hated how helpless it sounded. Mark's a good man, a mechanic, who'd give you the shirt off his back. But when it comes to his mother, he's blind. Years of her guilt trips and tears have trained him to see her as a saint, even when she's anything but. So, what's the plan? Tessa asked, her tone shifting to that no-nonsense way she has. Zoe's graduation is tomorrow. You can't let Envy win this one. I glanced at the calendar on the wall where I'd circled Zoe's big day with a red marker and little stars. My girl had worked so hard. Straight A's, art awards, a speech at the ceremony. She didn't deserve this. Then a spark of hope flickered in my chest. Tessa, remember the emerald dress? I said, a smile creeping into my voice. The one I made just in case? Tessa laughed, a sound of pure relief. You actually did it, you mad genius. After Na ruined Zoe's art portfolio last year, I'd started to expect her interference. So in secret I'd worked on a backup dress, an emerald green gown that shimmered like a forest under moonlight with intricate bead work that danced in the light. I'd sewn it during lunch breaks and late nights, hiding it in a garment bag behind a rack of old prom dresses in the boutique. I walked to the storage closet, now my hands steadying as I unzipped the bag. The dress was even more beautiful than I remembered, bold and vibrant like Zoe herself. I snapped a photo and sent it to Tessa. Natalie, she said, her voice soft with awe. It's stunning. Zoe's going to love it. But what about now? She'll be at the graduation, smirking like she's won. Let her come, I said, my voice firm. She thinks she's broken us. but she's about to see how wrong she is. Just then I heard the jingle of the front door. "Mom, I'm back from rehearsal," Zoe called. My heart sank. She wasn't supposed to see this yet. I shoved the garment bag behind a curtain and stepped into the main shop, bracing myself. Zoe walked in, her face glowing from the excitement of her final practice. But it fell the moment she saw the back room, the shredded ivory, fabric, the scattered pearls. It was like watching her heart break in slow motion. "Mom," she whispered, her voice trembling, "what happened to my dress?" I crossed the room and pulled her into a hug, feeling her shake against me. "It was Nah," I said softly, hating the way her body stiffened at the name. "But she hasn't won, sweetheart. Not even close." Zoe pulled back, her eyes wet but searching. "The ceremony's tomorrow. What are we going to do?" I reached for the garment bag, my hand steady now. "Nah. Think she knows us," I said, unzipping it slowly. "But she's never understood what we're capable of." When I revealed the emerald dress, Zoe's breath caught. Her sadness melted into wonder as she touched the beads, her fingers tracing the patterns I'd sewn with her in mind. "Mom, you made this for me." I nodded, my throat tight, "because you deserve to shine no matter what anyone tries to take from you." The morning of the graduation was crisp and clear, the kind of Ohio day where the sky feels endless. I was in Zoe's room, curling her hair, when Mark poked his head in. His eyes widened at the emerald dress hanging on the door. "Natalie, that's not the dress you showed me last week," he said, confusion creasing his brow. I kept my voice steady as I pinned a curl. "You should ask your mother about that. She stopped by the boutique yesterday while we were out." Mark frowned, his hands fidgeting. "She wouldn't, would she?" I met his eyes in the mirror. "The pieces are still in my workroom if you want to see them." 7 months of work gone in minutes. He looked like he wanted to argue, but Zoe spoke up, her voice quiet but firm. "Dad, it's not the first time. Remember my art portfolio? The one she accidentally spilled paint on? Or when she can led my art show entry pretending to be Mom?" Mark's face pad, and I could see the gears turning, but I didn't push. Today wasn't about him. It was about Zoe. We arrived at the school early, the parking lot buzzing with families in their Sunday best. Zoe joined the other speakers, her emerald dress catching the sunlight like a jewel. Heads turned, and I felt a surge of pride. She looked like she belonged on that stage. Then I spotted Na near the entrance, her lips pursed as she stood next to her husband, George. As we approached, her eyes locked on Zoe's dress, and her face twisted with something between shock and rage. "What is she wearing?" she hissed, grabbing Mark's arm. "That's not the dress you showed me." I smiled, my voice calm but loud enough for the parents nearby to hear. "No, it's not. Someone destroyed that one yesterday using a key only family has. Good thing I always have a backup." V's face flushed red, and George raised an eyebrow, confused. "Someone broken?" he asked. "Not broken," I said, still smiling. "They used a key, right?" "Nah." Before she could respond, the principal called everyone to their seats. As we walked inside, I heard Nvi muttering to Mark, probably spinning some excuse, but I didn't care. Zoe took the stage, the lights hitting her dress and making it glow like a forest at dusk. She stood tall, her notes in hand, and I could feel the crowd lean in, ready for her to speak. I glanced at Na, sitting stiffly a few rows away, and knew she was bracing for what came next. Zoe was about to show her and everyone else what she was made of. Zoe stepped to the podium, her voice steady as she began her speech. Life isn't about the people who try to hold you back, she said, her eyes finding mine in the crowd. It's about how you keep moving forward. Sometimes the ones who should lift you up are the ones who push you down. But strength isn't just about standing tall. It's about getting back up every single time. The room was silent, hanging on her words. I could feel the weight of her story, the years of Na's slights and sabotage woven into every sentence. The emerald dress sparkled, a silent testament to our resilience. As Zoe spoke, I noticed Mark wiping his eyes. For years, he brushed off Nvi's behavior for accidents, cutting remarks because facing the truth meant confronting his own guilt for letting it go on. But now, hearing Zoe's words, something in him shifted. When she finished, the crowd erupted in applause, and I saw parents whispering, glancing at Nivavia, who sat frozen, her face a mask of barely contained fury. Zoe glided back to her seat, every step radiating confidence, and I knew Nivea's plan had backfired spectacularly. After the ceremony, we gathered in the parking lot for photos. Nive approached her, smile tight, but before she could speak, I pulled a small leather journal from my purse. Nah, let's talk about yesterday, I said, my voice combat firm. I opened the journal and read aloud. March 2nd. Years ago, Na spilled paint on Zoe's art portfolio the night before her exhibition. June last year, she called the school posing as me to cancel Zoe's art show entry. Na's eyes widened and George looked stunned. You kept a record, he asked, his voice low. Every incident, I said, flipping through pages of dates, witnesses, even a photo of the ruined portfolio. I knew we'd need proof someday. Mark took the journal, his hands shaking as he read. Mom, he said, his voice breaking. How could you? Zoe's my daughter as much as anyone could be. Na's face twisted. She's not your real daughter, she snapped. But Mark cut her off, his voice louder than I'd ever heard. She's more my family than you are. Right now. He held out his hand. Give me your key to our house. You're not welcome until you fix this. George, reading over Mark's shoulder, looked at Na with new eyes. Did you really tell Zoe's art teacher she was unreliable to keep her out of the showcase? He asked, his voice heavy with disbelief. V stammered, but the truth was written all over her face. The rest of the day passed in a blur of celebration. Zoe walked across the stage to get her diploma, her emerald dress glowing under the lights, and the crowd cheered louder than I expected. Parents and teachers kept stopping us to compliment her look, her speech, her grace. Each comment felt like a tiny victory, a reminder that Nvi's cruelty had only made Zoe shine brighter. As we posed for photos, I caught Nvi watching from a distance, her eyes darting like she was recalculating her next move. For the first time, I saw a flicker of fear in her expression, not of me, but of what she couldn't control. Zoe's strength, our bond, the truth. That evening we celebrated at Zoe's favorite diner, a little place with checkered floors and the best milkshakes in town. Zoe, still in her dress, laughed over a plate of fries, her face free of the weight Na had tried to pile on her for years. Mark reached for my hand across the table, his eyes soft. I'm sorry, Natalie, he said quietly. I should have seen what she was doing a long time ago. Zoe leaned over and hugged him. You see it now, Dad. That's enough. My heart swelled watching them together. Real family, not perfect, but stronger for it. Later, our phones lit up with notifications. V had posted on social media a long apology for her recent actions, announcing she was stepping back from her church and community roles to reflect. Zoe raised an eyebrow over her milkshake. Think she means it? I laughed. Not for a second, but she knows. We've got enough to unravel her perfect image if she tries anything again. The journal, the photos, the security footage from my boutique's camera. It was all safely stored, a quiet shield against her schemes. A few days later, George called. He'd found a box in their attic. Broken art supplies, torn sketches, even a ribbon from Zoe's first art show. Things Na had taken or destroyed over the years. She kept them. Like souvenirs, he said, his voice thick with disgust. He was meeting with a lawyer talking divorce. Justice didn't come with a megaphone, but it arrived. All the same, steady and undeniable. As I tucked Zoe's dress away in her closet, its emerald fabric catching the light, I thought about what it meant. It wasn't just a gown. It was proof we could take the worst someone threw at us and turn it into something beautiful. Na had spent years trying to dim Zoe's light, but all she did was teach us to shine brighter, to plan smarter, to stand taller. I'd spent those years teaching Zoe not just to survive, but to thrive, to meet cruelty with grace and hate with strength. To everyone who's followed this journey, thank you. You've walked with us through heartbreak, betrayal, and a hard-won victory. If this story hit you in the heart, hit that subscribe button and join us. Every stitch, every moment, every fight tells a story of love, resilience, and rising above. Keep weaving your own truth, and I'll meet you at the next chapter.